It's a movie. It's a goddamn movie. I called it. I literally called it. Sorry. For context, in a video I uploaded literally 4 years ago, before it was announced we were getting any new Gochiusa anime, I predicted that if we do get another anime project, that it was going to be a movie rather than a 4th season, and well, it looks like I was spot on with that. Earlier this week, it was announced that we are getting just that, an anime movie for Gochiusa. Now, I unlisted that video because it was old and cringe and no announcement was made for like 4 years, leading me to believe that that prediction was wrong, but I should have had faith in myself because I was right. Of course I was right. I'm always right. Anyways, I'll leave a link to that video as proof I made the prediction. Spoilers for, I guess, the new anime project, but in my prediction I said that I didn't want a movie because, as you saw at the end of Season 3, they plan a graduation trip, and what happens next in the manga is that, well, they go on that trip, meaning that the movie is probably going to be their adaptation of this trip. Now, I did the math, and 1 volume of manga is usually adapted into about 2 hours of anime, and the trip takes about 1 volume of the manga. But this is kind of a problem because, well, Dear My Sister, which is the Gochiusa movie we currently have, is only 1 hour. So if that's anything to go off of, if the trip is adapted into a 1-hour movie, we might just have to live with the fact that half of the content of one of the best arcs of Gochiusa will never be adapted into the anime. That was the prediction I made about 4 years ago. But things are different now. I'm on even more hopium. Okay, but seriously, there are a few things to consider that might save our graduation trip. First of all, the anime has a tendency to embellish certain storylines, giving them more focus and depth than the manga did, sometimes taking a whole episode to cover 1 chapter, and sometimes covering multiple chapters in the same episode. So theoretically, with this varied ratio of manga to anime, it is possible to cover more of the manga in a shorter amount of time than the average. Although I will say, part of the fun of the anime adaptation is seeing where they go deeper with these plot lines. That's why Dear My Sister felt so special. It took an entire hour to dive into just 3 chapters of content. But the bigger thing to consider is just the possibility of a 2-hour movie. The studio making this new project also made the quintuplets movie, which was 2 hours. Now, I know it's not the studio that determines the length of a movie, it's more of like budget and demand, but I'm assuming if they got the same studio, they probably have a similar budget and demand. So here's hoping we get 2 hours of Gochiusa. Well, that's it then, problem solved, right? Well, not exactly. There's actually a non-negligible amount of chapters leading up to the trip. We're talking like 2 or 3 episodes worth of content between the Season 3 finale and the beginning of the trip. Now, you may bring up that it's okay to do chapters out of order. I mean, the part of the manga where Kokoa visits home, which is the focus of Dear My Sister, comes after the chapters that episodes 1 and 2 of Season 3 were based on, so especially with movies, it's not unheard of for them to adapt content slightly out of order. Unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna fly here. Aside from entire characters just not being present, which in all honesty could be hand-waved pretty easily, the chapters are specifically Chino and the others preparing for the graduation trip. It wouldn't really make sense to have those happen after the graduation trip. Alternatively, they could just skip those chapters. I'm not too attached to them, and if I had to pick between losing content before or during the trip, I'd definitely take the preamble. Now, I might be sounding pretty negative here, saying that something's bound to be lost in adaptation, but I want to make it 100% clear that this is not a doom post. I just really want this to be good. I really want them to do the trip justice, and I know how hard of a task that is. But I have faith. It's Gochiusa. They will deliver. And more than anything, I just really want to hear Ginger Ale.